What's going on, everyone? It's Mike, it's John back again, and me and John are fucking disgusted with that performance yesterday on the beach FC. Decisions, I'm sitting here, we've got a striker that the manager clearly don't like, and we've already got people calling for Moyes' head, which, by the way, I don't agree with. But, John, what was your take on the game? Should we talk about the fans first, really? It'd be nice.
Well, I mean, to be fair, mate, leading up to kick-off, I thought, again, the 1878's done a fantastic job yesterday. It was a privilege to be there to see the setup that they'd done a couple of days leading up to the game. But then you've got a gang of shithouse players, a gang of inept players who haven't got the right mentality to play for Everton Football Club. Now, Goodison Park deserve the better send-off this season than what this squad of players has given it. 4 league wins all season at home. 4 times this season, we've blown a 2-0 lead. And another thing that I read today, even if we do beat Southampton, this is the least amount of games Everton have won at home since the Premier League started. It's an absolute disgrace. The grand old lady deserves a better send-off than what it's getting. But you're not going to get it from the majority of this squad of players, especially the second half. You know, you're quite right with what you say. One team was on the beach. One team doesn't give a shit. And the other team was playing with no pressure because they're already down. And it showed. And I'm telling you now, if we put a performance in like we did against in the second half, we won't get another point this season. Southampton will do us because they're playing with no pressure. So for me, you know, yeah, it's 1 win in 10 under David Moyes. He has had quite a few draws. People who are calling for his head haven't got a clue about football, in my opinion, because it's probably the same for people who were creaming the kecks when David Moyes come in. He was the best man for the job. Let's see what he can do when he get, 3 or 4 of his own players in the summer transfer window, when he's had a pre-season with them, when he's got a full season with them. So people who are calling for his head, get the fuck.
Oh, there's the Scottish say, get the fuck, man!
Honest to God, they haven't got a clue, mate. So who did he want? It's the same people who wanted Dyche out, just like me, but I don't want Moyes out. What did he want?
The thing is, Moyes has inherited this team, so unless you're going to give him a chance to make his team, you can't argue with what he's trying to do. He's trying to give players minutes, etc., and he's rotating the squad. And we saw the 3 of the 4 that we wanted to see yesterday, literally in the positions that certainly I asked for in the preview. Literally, McNeil on the right and Dye on the left and Alcaraz in the middle. And we pretty much watched that for 70 minutes. And from a footballing perspective, you can tell that is a team that hasn't played together very often. So you can almost give them the benefit of the doubt in that sense. I thought Beto, I know he scored a good header. Fair enough, he scored a good header. But, mate, he gave the ball away twice from first touches in the first minute. In the first minute, it ricocheted off him and went straight to Liam Delap, who, by the way, I mean, if we talk about everything, was lucky to be on the pitch at the end. So, yeah, man, I was really disappointed. Really disappointed. The midfield, I thought Garner, but both of them got ran through. And I can sort of, I'm okay with Ladrissa Garner guy happening. He's 36. He shouldn't be playing 36 games a season. And let's be honest, for the majority of the season, he's been great.
Yeah.
But James Garner, for that shot yesterday from Enciso, and I will talk about Enciso a little bit because I really like him, but that shot, he doesn't step across, he doesn't engage, he doesn't do anything, and I was fuming.
Well, the thing is, mate, James Garner, I said to you today, he went past the Idrissa Garner guy for that goal like he wasn't there. I'm not going to stand here and give Idrissa Garner guy any shit whatsoever, because I think for me, he's probably been our best player this season. But when you've got James Garner, who didn't go and then closed it, was it Enciso down, and he sort of waves a leg at it like half-hearted. And I'll say it again, I've said it so many times, going forward, in my opinion, James Garner is not good enough. How many teams in the Premier League does James Garner get into? There's not many. And people, again, I'll go back to people wanting Moyes out and slagging him off. We go down with Sean Dyche if he's still at this club. We would have went down. David Moyes got us safe, with 5 games to spare. Sean Dyche doesn't do that. So again, I'll say it. cut him a bit of slack. He needs a summer. We all need the summer to come now. We need this season over, because I'm telling you, that squad of players there, I know we can't get rid of them all. And for £30 million for Liam Delap, I'm sorry, but there's better strikers out there for 30 million. Yeah, he scored 10, 11, 12 goals in a poor Ipswich team. I see nothing yesterday to convince me that Liam Delap will come to this football club and take us to the next level, because I think there's better players out there. And don't get me wrong, I've said on here a few times, I think Liam Delap would be a David Moyes type player, but we can't change everything in the summer. We need creative midfielders. We need a ball carrier midfielder. We need wingers with pace. You can't bring all them in one window, so you're not going to get the best out of Liam Delap. So to spend £30 million on him when the team is not going to change much in one transfer window, then I'm sorry, spend your 30 million quid somewhere else.
You see, I'm on the fence about Delap because, like I said in the preview, it was a big game to see how Branthwaite and O'Brien handled him, and they handled him well. I rate Liam Delap, so I'm not on the same fence as you. Like, for me, 30 million quid, I would sign him. I would sign him. I don't have an issue with it. But the big thing for me is what's actually behind the strikers. Because Beto again proved yesterday he can get a goal. We know that Calvert-Lewin will chip in with 6 goals. There is a few goals up front, not loads, but there's a few. It's the team around the midfield. You know, Jack Harrison gets none. You know, Ndai's got 7 or something, fair enough. But the centre of midfielders, Decore's got 2. Lindstrom's got none. You know, we need more goals from there as well. But I think from an overall perspective, we need goals everywhere. But for me, Liam Delap, he was shown out of the game, if you get what I mean. But then we couldn't control what was behind Liam Delap, which was Amari Hutchinson on the right-hand side, which was Enciso on the left-hand side. Both of those players, I don't particularly rate Amari Hutchinson, but Enciso is a baller. He is a baller. And I like Alcaraz. I've got all the time in the world for Alcaraz. I think Alcaraz is a good player. But if you said to me, Mike, you're going to spend an extra £5 to £10 million on Enciso over Alcaraz, I'm telling you now, mate, I snap your hand off. Snap your hand off, because I think Enciso was fantastic. And our fullbacks, again, Nathan Patterson, awful. Mikalenko had a bad game. I just thought it was a poor game of football.
Everton didn't play the way they have been, and I've mentioned it on here the last couple of weeks how we put a player against Arsenal, we give Liverpool a game. You know, we were putting good performances in. We've started to see the better Mikalenko since David Moyes has come in. Yesterday, I thought he was poor. I was screaming at him. He had so much grass to run into yesterday. He had loads of space in front of him. He wasn't shouting for the ball every time he did get the ball. He played it backwards instead of going forwards. That's not the Mikalenko we've seen in the last couple of weeks, but it was the Patterson we've seen in the last couple of weeks. And I'll say it again, as long as I've got a hole in my arse, Nathan Patterson is not a Premier League footballer. He's not good enough. I'd have no problem starting Ashley Young over Nathan Patterson, because I don't think he gives you anything. He doesn't give you anything going forward. Defensively, he can get caught out of position so many times in every game. But yesterday, there was certain players who you look at, you know, Ipswich, we should be beating Ipswich at home. Let's be honest about it. We should be beating relegated teams at home. 2 games to go at Goodison yesterday. The players should have been up, but the fans were really up for it in the early stages. But the second half display, mate, left a lot to be desired. And, you know, I love Iliman Ndiaye. I really do rate him. I love him. I hope we build a team around him. But since he's come back from that injury, mate, he's done nothing neither. I think he's been quite poor. Show glimpses of brilliance and, you know, wiggling away from his marker and taking the ball forward. He's not really doing anything with it since the injury. They're the sort of players that we need to be counting on. You look at that team yesterday. When you look back now, who could we look back from that starting 11 and go, we should have got him into the game more, or we should have used him more, or he was the one who would, you know, get the team going. There was no one on that pitch yesterday. I thought Dwight McNeil first game starting again. I thought he'd done well cutting in off the right McNeil, but he's got no pace about him. I thought he was probably one of the better performances yesterday, considering he's been out for a while. But you're not getting nothing from your strikers. Beto, yeah, chipped in with another goal, but he gives the ball away too much for me. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, yeah, I'm not going to slag him off because he didn't get many minutes and he didn't really have time to get into the game. But yesterday, mate, I was so disappointed with that second half performance when, you expect to be beating teams like Ipswich at home. We've won 4 games at home at Goodison Park in its last season, mate. I think it's an absolute disgrace.
I've said it. It was another poor second half performance. We've seen a few. Manchester United at home, Aston Villa away, Bournemouth at home. These performances where we've just dropped off a cliff in the second half, and you can also argue that there was other games that we actually won. We were 3-0 up against Spurs, and we did everything we could to throw that away to get a point in that game. We won 3-2, but it could have been 3-3. This team need
the mentality, mate.
They need some winners. They need some winners. And I do get it. This team is used to not winning games of football. I get it. I'm actually understand it. But the one thing I'm going to say is, unless you bring players in and people in who can play and win games of football, comfortably get on the ball, comfortably carry the team, comfortably grab the game by the scruff of the neck, you're always going to struggle. And there wasn't a player yesterday that could do that. I thought Alcaraz come far too deep at times. Bearing in mind he was playing as a 10. There was times where he'd pick up the ball in centre midfield. Again, that's because James Garner is not carrying the ball forward or not passing the ball forward. So Alcaraz is having to come back and do it. He's having to do two jobs. There was opportunities to shoot yesterday. We played the ball around the box. Again, pointless. I was so disappointed with the performance. So disappointed. And I'm glad it's a game that's gone. To only win 4 home games in a Premier League season is an absolute disgrace. It is an absolute disgrace. And David Moyes' record isn't actually, I think, any better than Sean Dyche's at Goodison Park. And that's what scares me about this group of players. So we need the summer. We need to get some points on the board early on next season, build that confidence, build that winning mentality, and then we go. But at the minute, I would worry if we don't bring in a lot of additions in the summer. And I know we got to, but this team is shit.
Well, we need players with a winning mentality. You've mentioned the word mentality there in the last minute and a half. Winning mentality. You look at that squad of players, you look at that group of players that started yesterday. We were crying out for Alcaraz and Ndiaye to start together. How many of that team yesterday could you say they've got the right winning mentality to get Everton the 3 points? And we need players. Listen, for me, the summer, we need players to come in with a winning mentality. That's first and foremost. We need players who have got a winning mentality ingrained into them, who have got the balls to carry the team forward, who have got the balls to take Everton to the next level. That's what we need. For me, I'll say it again, we need players with a winning mentality who will grab games by the scruff of the neck. Who have we got? Who have we got at Everton at the minute who will actually grab the game by the scruff of the neck and take it to the opposition? We haven't got anyone. We haven't got anyone. So you're not going to win many football matches if you haven't got that mentality. A lot of teams have 2 or 3, 4 players in the starting 11 every week who will drive their team forwards with the winning mentality, set out to win the game, set out to be the star player on the pitch. That squad of players don't set out at the first whistle going, I'm going to be best player on this pitch today. I'm going to be man of the match. They haven't got the mentality to, and it's ingrained in them. The losing mentality that you mentioned before is ingrained into this team. Now, they don't know how to win football matches. 4 wins at home is an absolute disgrace. And, we've said on here about the amount of points that we've threw away. 4 times this season, 2-goal leads we've let slip. There's no mentality to win games there, mate, if you're letting points like that slip away against teams who really, apart from probably Villa, we should be beaten.
mate. I was just looking at the table and I was doing some of the stats and looking at all of that. Everton, yet again, have got away with it because we're still sitting 14th in the league and we've won 1 in 10.
Yeah.
So it speaks volumes of how shit Man United are, Tottenham are, West Ham are. I mean, Wolves look like they were going to go down at one point. Wolves look worse than Ipswich, and yet they're 2 points above us. And this Everton team, I don't know whether it's Moyes is being let down. I don't know whether it's Moyes messing about with tactics or plans, substitutions. Me and you have said they've been poor at times this season. But this team, as you rightly say, need to get into the summer. And the other thing I want to mention is Chimiti. I want to mention Chimiti because there was a lot of fans. I saw Ped. I saw Ped from Toffee TV. I saw a couple of the lads from the Bullens going on about it. Me and you have had conversations with Millsy about it. We've got a striker there that has got years left on his deal that we don't know very much of, and there's games of football that pretty much don't make any difference to us, yet he's not getting a sniff. Now, David Moyes sees him every week in training. Is it that we have wasted, again, £14 million on a player that is not going to wear consistently a first-team shirt for Everton Football Club? Because this is another young player we've signed, like we've had over the years, Moise Keane, Adamola Luckman, Branthwaite, Holgate. Branthwaite's worked out, to be fair, but Holgate, Nathan Patterson. There's loads of young players that we've signed over the years that haven't made it consistently. Is he going to be one of them, John?
Well, at the end of the day, we haven't seen enough of him to pass judgment on him. Now, the David Moyes has made his mind up on Chimiti from what he has seen in training and the little glimpses that he's given, that he's not going to get a sniff, or he's seen enough and he doesn't want to see any more because he knows he's going to be in and around the squad next season. But you trying to tell me that Chimiti is any worse than Beto? I don't think he is. Is he any worse than Brozier? Probably not. So, we brought Dominic Calvert-Lewin back into the fold yesterday, and it looks like he's going to agree a deal to stay. Does Chimiti get you more goals than Calvert-Lewin? Probably not. But do you keep Calvert-Lewin fit? So, for me, we've got to, he's give Alcaraz minutes. We shouted for that. He's give Alcaraz the minutes. He brought Dwight McNeil back in. But you're quite right with what you say. When he's not giving Chimiti a chance, again, over a player like Beto, we know what you get with Beto. You do know what you get with Beto. Might score the odd goal every now and again like he did yesterday, but his older play is shocking. Chimiti's older play is better than Beto's. Chimiti will get in. He's faster than Beto. He'll get in behind the defence. He'll put himself about Chimiti. I just don't know why he's not giving him a sniff. I really don't know why he's not giving him a sniff. But again, is he another one of them players who isn't good enough to take us forward? Does he take us to the next level? Probably not. But as you're quite right with what you say, it doesn't look like he'll go anywhere anytime soon because he's got quite a few years left on his contract. So just give him a go and see what he can do. Give him the last 4 games. Just give him the last 4 games.
Well, it's 3 now. But yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it. 2 more things I just want to mention because I'm still angry about this game. After the game, you saw Liam Dilap go into what house is it? It's the house over the road from the.
They do like a bar deal, a drinks deal before the game.
Yeah, I've been in there. I've met a few of them, and obviously you walk past the wall as you walk in, and you see. It's very weird that he signed that wall.
I don't know. I think you're looking too much into it. I think he was.
I'm not. Tell me another player from the opposition team that has just played and signed that wall.
Oh no, there could be something to it, but I think it's going to take more than signing a wall to convince me that Everton are going to get Liam Delap. Because Chelsea are in for him, Man United are in for him. Everton are going to have to pull out all the stops to get Liam Delap. Maybe there is something in it. Why would he do it? I don't know. It did seem a bit strange that, before he got on the coach. He's walked through all the Everton fans to go into a house to sign a ball. It is a bit strange. I don't know why he's done it. I'd love to know why. So if anyone knows who got him in there, who asked him, or did he offer? Has he heard about this wall before? Let us know in the comments.
I am interested because it's so random, because no opposition player would know about it. So it's random to me. Look, I'm not reading too much into it. I would like to sign Liam Delap. I would, but I would like to sign better, sell better. I would like to get rid of Calvert-Lewin. I'd like to give Chimiti a go, and if we have to bring in another striker on loan, I'm all for it. I am had enough with lots of Everton players. I've had enough. I'm done. And the last thing I wanted to mention was something I tweeted, which has kind of gone, in the Everton world on Twitter, semi-viral, which is about doing an applause for the 1878 because of the work that they've done at Goodison. Now, I suspect it should have happened in that game. But I don't think it would do any harm that as a fan base, we do something to celebrate the work that the Everton 1878 have done. And look, sometimes it's been, I don't always think it's actually helped, because it's almost like the fans, the 1878 have done everything to create the atmosphere, to get us going. The big game that stands out for me is last season. We have a 10 points deduction. We play Man United. We've all got our little purple things saying Premier League's corrupt. And we're 1-0 down after 3 minutes from an absolute wonder goal. I don't always think the players have responded to it, and they certainly didn't respond to it yesterday. Yesterday was about the fans. But I do think we should be thanking the 1878 and everything that they do, and all the people involved. I think they've done a tremendous job. And I don't know how we do that. Whether you give them an applause on the 18th minute and the 78th minute, which is what I tweeted, or whether, before the game, the club actually come out and do something. I am slightly surprised the club aren't doing anything, or doesn't appear to be doing anything for the fans. I worked it out that if Everton bought 40,000 bottles of beer and they give every single Everton fan, even the kids, I've just worked it out roughly, it's £195,000 for everyone to have a bottle of beer. And I've been at games, like, for example, I went to Everton West Brom a few years ago. West Brom and new owners, they bought everyone a beer. They said, we're here, it's celebration. I think West Ham have done it as well. I don't think there would be anything wrong with Everton going, here's a beer on us. Let's celebrate Goodison together. Let's do something for the 1878s. Let's do something for you fans, because the 1878s did Saturday for the fans. They did that for us at Goodison Park. It would be nice for Everton, the freaking group who were bought into this, everyone connected with the club, to give us fans something and say, thank you for supporting us, being great fans, doing everything that you've done over the last few years at Goodison, because it would not be a Premier League ground if it wasn't for us. That is fact, end of story.
I agree. You say the players should have got up for it yesterday. It's going to take more than the great job that the 1878s do to get that group of inept players up for a game, in my opinion. And I've said this about the fans, and I'm if people want to have a pop at me, they can. The atmosphere before the game, with the ticker tape yesterday, and the Goodison Park thing in the park end, looked absolutely fantastic. But then there's more atmosphere in the Moon after 2 or 3 minutes. There's no atmosphere at Goodison, and I can't really blame the fans for that, because they're watching that group of players. The players aren't giving the crowd anything to get off the seats for, not whatsoever. And again, it's down to mentality. The 1878, in my opinion, have done a fantastic job, and they deserve massive, massive credit from every Everton fan, from everyone who's connected with Everton Football Club, because without them, it would have been even worse than what it has been this season. I thought yesterday, every display they've done this season, especially, has been nothing short of fantastic. But I thought yesterday just went above the level yesterday, where I just thought, you know what, that was fantastic yesterday. It was fantastic. And I got some pictures yesterday. I sent them to you, and I'll keep them pictures forever, you know, and a video with the ticker tape and stuff like that. The only thing that got to me yesterday was with the ticker tape and the proper display that the 1878 put out. It hit home yesterday that this is it. You know, I have a couple of friends who were going to have a beer with at half time, Brian and Leslie, and me and Leslie had a moment yesterday at half time, because it's one next time we go there, you know, and I'll miss that because they're sitting in somewhere else in Bramley-Moore. So I'll miss that half time drink with them. But I think the 1878 display that they done yesterday made it emotional as well, more than getting us up for it. Do you know what I mean? I just thought yesterday, everything that they done made it emotional. It's a brilliant display. The ticker tape, the banners, the Goodison Park and the Park End. It just made it hit home to me yesterday that, yeah, this is it now. You know, one more game to go.
Yeah, spot on. Yeah, right. We will leave it there. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. We'll be doing some content this week. We don't really know what at the minute. We'll wait for news. There's some rumours around a special shirt that's going to be potentially worn for last game at Goodison. Going back to some of our other traditional colours. There's rumours that there's a different style of shirt, whether that's going to be for Bramley-Moore. I don't know. It looks blue and zigzagged, and I don't know if I like it, to be honest. But there's different pictures of different things floating around. So yeah, we'll see what that looks like. There's obviously going to be transfer and player rumours as well. So we'll see about that.
To add something as well, I heard something yesterday, and I also got sent something last week that it looks like Everton could possibly request to play the beginning of the season. Everton are going to request to play away for a couple of weeks, because there's certain aspects of the Freakins, you know, with the executive boxes and the catering side of it, that they just weren't happy with. So that I did get something sent to me in the week, and I also heard it again yesterday, that Everton are going to request for their first games to all be played away from home. So, you know, if we hear any more on that, we will let you know. I'm sure the rumours, if they are true, will start circulating, but there's a chance it's not all going to be ready for the season kickoff.
Yeah, David Moyes wants a new office, eh? Right, yeah. Guys, we will see you soon. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. Make sure you keep following us on all the socials as well. Make sure if you see John, you punch him in the face for me. And until then, I'll see you soon. Up the toughies. Peace.